Well, we've got the second Harry Styles movie in as many months with the new Amazon Prime film adaptation of a popular book called My Policeman. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new Amazon Prime film, My Policeman, starring Harry Styles as the title policeman. We'll get into what all that means here in just a moment. But first, I want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got tons of movie and TV stuff on the channel here for you to peruse, including a review of the other Harry Styles movie as of late, which was Don't Worry, Darling, which is out of theaters now, but is streaming on, I think, HBO Max is where I saw that. So, anyway, think about subscribing down below there. Would love to have you aboard as one of my subscribers to the channel. Like this video, comment, all that stuff helps me out, and we'd love to see it. So, all right, let's dive into this movie because this is another one where there is a huge sort of shift between critics and audiences. The audiences have this at a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics, I think 54 is what I saw. So, a bit lower for sure, and then on Metacritic, it's an even 50 out of 100. So definitely, some some disparity there. And as of late, I've been really siding more with the critics than audiences. Usually, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, but I don't know. Lately, not so much. But we'll see where I fall here in a moment. But basically, this is set mostly in the 1950s, but it flashes forward as well to the quote-unquote present day, which I guess is probably about 20 years ago. I'm not sure if they actually say, but I think it's like late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. But the young characters are played by Harry Styles. He is the policeman named Tom. You've got Emma Corrin, who is a school teacher that he marries. And then David Dawson as the younger version of the Patrick character. And the three of them are sort of in a very interesting relationship. There are possibly some secrets going on, but what does the school teacher know about what her husband is up to? That sort of, is in question throughout the movie, and we find out some pieces of that. But we also find out more in the quote-unquote present-day version, which, by the way, those characters are played by Linus Roche, plays the Harry Styles grown-up character. Gina McKee plays Emma Corrin's character. And then Rupert Everett, we know him from a few things. He plays the older version of Patrick. And so we sort of get, most of the movie takes place in the 50s, but we get some, sort of looking back on certain things in the future version or whatever, the present day version, whatever you want to call it. Harry Styles, he's making some interesting choices because the fact that he is, so at ease playing this, gay character is, I think, honestly, maybe not as big a deal as it was 15 years ago when, Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger did it for Brokeback Mountain. But, as a younger gay person, I remember Will Smith in the early 90s. He was in this movie 6 Degrees of Separation, and I never ended up seeing it, but I guess he played a gay character, and he had like this big thing about, I'm not going to do a kissing scene, with a guy, and da-da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, that same year is when Philadelphia came out with Tom Hanks, God bless you, for making that movie. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely come a long way in 30, 35 years, 40 years almost of, the gay experience in film. And I am not one of these people who says, all gay characters have to be played by gay people. Like, that's stupid. Also, Harry Styles is kind of, a little bit fluid with his sexuality. So who really knows, where he stands on that. But in any event, I love that he is, trying to expand his dramatic chops a little bit, his horizons there. My biggest issue with him in Don't Worry, Darling is he is against Florence Pugh, who is like an amazing actress. She is going to be, I think, one to watch here. And he couldn't quite, keep up with her. Here, my issue is more that his character doesn't really get any kind of a backstory. And I really would have liked to have seen one. It makes it so much more generic that we don't have one. We're just like, okay, this guy's gay, gets married because it's the 50s, has a secret relationship. I mean, we did that in Brokeback Mountain, and many, many, many other movies. So having a little bit of a backstory, but, I think he's still a little green as an actor, and I think maybe a more experienced actor with this script would have been like, okay, even if we don't actually see on the screen or anything, the background or anything like that, I think, somebody with a little more, dramatic chops or something would have said like, okay, what is my character's backstory, to the director, just so they at least know and can sort of present that a little bit better on the screen. Because, I just didn't think his acting was that great in this, but it's not that great of a script. But here's the thing. There are some positives here. I liked the movie. I liked watching it, and I certainly felt some things with these characters. I think it's been done better in a lot of other movies. I've already named a couple, but Carol is one from a few years ago that takes place, I think, around this time, either 50s or 60s, like early 60s, with Cate Blanchett and one of the Maras. I think it was Rooney Mara, maybe. But that's an example of really giving characters depth and all of this. But not to say that it isn't done all right here. Nothing is necessarily bad about this film. It's just kind of all rather generic. We've seen it done better before. And the director of this, who I was unfamiliar with, Michael Grandage, I looked him up, and most of his experience is in theater, and that actually makes a lot of sense once I knew that, because I do think there's not a ton of really interesting shots here. The camera work is, filming the scene with the people, and that's about it. If you told me that this was adapted from a stage play, which it's not, but if you told me it was, I wouldn't be shocked by that, because that is kind of how it's shot. So, Emma Corrin is fine. I actually think the other guy, Patrick, who's played by David Dawson, who I am not really familiar with. He's done a few things, but I'm not sure anything that I've seen. I thought he was the standout here for sure. And so overall, look, I like that Harry Styles is trying to, elevate his status as a serious actor. He was in Dunkirk, but I think we're finding between this and Don't Worry, Darling, I think we're finding maybe he's better as a side character and not the main star of the show. Because I think he's okay as an actor, but enough to, really carry a movie. I'm not sure that we're seeing that. And I feel the same about Taylor Swift. I love her music, and she, when she hosted SNL, she was funny, and so is Harry Styles. But, the things we've seen Taylor Swift in, it's kind of I haven't seen the latest movie she did, Amsterdam, yet. But in any event, every time I see her, I'm like, okay, she's okay here as a performer. That's kind of how I feel about Harry Styles. I would love for him to prove me wrong, because I think he's a cool dude. I'd love for him to just give me something that wows me. This wasn't it, though. But worth watching? Yeah, maybe. I am. It's funny that Metacritic is at a 50 out of 100, because I am as well, kind of right in the middle with this movie. I leave My Policeman with a C. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see everybody next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.